In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build a simple automation to automatically send updates to your clients in your agency. Now, usually I'm not a fan of automating any sort of communication, especially in the agency world where you're so reliant on communication. However, what I'm going to show you today is a much smaller piece of a much larger puzzle where we're going to be using AI and automation to give your client a better experience by automatically updating them. Now, you're probably wondering, how can we actually do this? How is this simple automation going to give my clients a better experience? Well, it's all based on this book right here called The Progress Principle. Now, this is a book that was written by Teresa Amabil and Stephen Kramer, and the whole concept behind it is that people are happier and more motivated when they see progress being made towards a specific goal. So us being able to use this automation to automatically send different updates to our clients, all it's basically doing is showing our clients proof that progress is actually being made, which in turn is going to make them happier and more motivated in the project or whatever you are carrying out for them. And if you think about this for a second, this actually makes a lot of sense. I mean, let's say you were having some sort of construction done in your house. Would you feel more secure in the actual project if you could see them every single day outside of a window doing the work? Or would you feel more secure if you went away for a week and you couldn't see anything that we're actually doing? Right? If you were there, able to see all the progress that's being done every single day, you'd feel much more secure in their ability to actually build this project of yours or wherever it is may be. And it's the exact same thing when it comes to services. If you were to pay for a specific service and you got a text every single day that let you know I've done this and this for today, this is the next steps for tomorrow, you're gonna feel more motivated because you're seeing progress being made toward that specific goal. So that's what I'm gonna be showing you how to automate today using this simple automation right here. This isn't gonna be anything crazy. I'm gonna show you how you can build this from scratch. We're actually gonna be building this together. And my goal for the end of this video is to show you exactly how you can use this automation, implement it in your agency, and automatically send your clients updates to give them a better experience. So let's get straight into it. So now that you actually understand how we can actually do this, let's talk about how we can actually do it. Let's get into it. The first thing we need to do is decide an automation tool. Now the two big ones are Zapier Make with N8N, you making quite a big surge in 2025. In this video, I'm primarily focusing on Make.com, but honestly guys, I say this in every single one of my videos, it doesn't really matter which tool you're using. Anything we use today, you can do in Zapier, and you can definitely do in N8N. So don't get too overwhelmed by, not using a specific tool, whatever it may be, because whatever I'm doing today, you can replicate on any tool. All these guys are doing at the end of the day is just repackaging different APIs. So keep that in mind. But in this video, we're going to be using Make.com because I actually did a poll in my community a couple of weeks ago asking them what different automation software they use. And I think it was like 90% Make.com, some crazy number like that. So going forward, all tutorials are going to be Make.com just to better serve the community. Once you've actually chosen a tool, it's time to move over to the most important step of this entire video. And that's the trigger. What actually initiates the automation? Now, the reason why I think this is the most important step is because this is the very start of your entire process. So what that basically means is if you don't get this right, anything you do after this is not going to matter because your automation won't actually begin triggering. So we have to make sure we get this initial starting point or the trigger right. Because once again, if we don't do this the right way, then the rest of what we do in this video is not going to matter because this automation isn't actually going to start when it's meant to actually run. So two options I'm going to show you in this video. The first option is going to be applicable to any project management tool. The second option is going to be a bit more specific, but in my opinion, a bit more helpful. For now, we'll start with the first option just to avoid confusing people. And that's just going to be a task being updated to completed. Now, what does it actually look like? For example, if I'm in my project management tool, which in this case, this is a local tool that we built in a YouTube video. Check out this video if you want to find out how you can actually do that. But all I'm going to do in order to actually trigger this automation is move a task from backlog or in progress to the complete stage, and that's pretty much it. That's how I want to trigger this automation. In order to actually do that, what I'm going to do is go over to the workflow section, and once again guys, don't focus too much on the specific tools I'm using. In this case it's the local, but you can do this with most project management tools, whether it's Airtable, even ClickUp, Asana, wherever it may be. They all have kind of internal platform builders. So you want to go here and you want to create a new one, and in this case it's going to be a task, and we're going to go ahead and name this complete task. So the actual trigger for this is when a record is updated, and the field I want to watch, if I scroll all the way down, I want to watch the actual status field. Now, I don't want the processes for every single update in the status because, for example, if a task is moved to backlog or a task is moved in progress, I don't really care too much. I only want to do this for completed tasks. So I'm going to add a filter or only continue if, and then for this, the trigger, and I'm going to scroll down to the actual status is equal to, and then here, I'm just going to choose the completed tab. So now what this basically means, we set up this very simple automation within our project management tool that whenever the status is updated to completed, and only when it is completed, it's going to go ahead and actually trigger. Now we need to figure out the last step is automation, which is triggering our automation within make.com. Now, the reason I'm going to use make.com, because I could easily build this on here within a local, but because not everyone using a local and not all project management tools allow you to, create a bit more enhanced flows. So for this, I'm just going to move everything over to make.com. And through that, I'm just going to choose this module to actually trigger a webhook. And here, I just need to enter the webhook URL, which I can get from my automation right about here. So now on make.com, I've gone ahead and signed up for an account. It's very easy if you guys don't already have one. The first module for this automation is going to be a webhook. I'm just going to go ahead and create a new one. All I'm going to do is copy this one and add it over here. And that is pretty much it, guys. Very, very simple. So now, for example, if I go ahead and turn this on and I run this just so we can get some data in, no big deal. And I move any of these tasks over to complete, this should trigger and we should get some sort of notification here with a webhook. As you can see, we have all the information about the task. We can see the status is completed, which is what we want. And now we can kind of move on to step 2 of this automation. So far, I hope that makes sense. All we've basically done here is set up the trigger, which once again is a very important part of the automation. And all we're doing here is triggering this automation whenever a project or task, gets moved on to the completed stage. Now that that's done, we need to work on the second step. Now, all I want to do here is find the project information. How this specific project management tool works, each task is basically related to a project. So for example, if I click on this and I scroll down, you can see it has an assigned project. And if I click it, I can get more information about the project. So all I want to do now is use that information to find that specific project. So for this, I'm going to open the local again. I'm going to search for a record. And in this case, I'm looking for the record in the project collection. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to project, and here I can actually find it. I've set up a couple of unique identifiers, but in this case, I already have the ID. If I open my signed project, I can see that ID right there, and I go ahead and press save. So now we're basically done. We set the automation to trigger whenever a task gets completed, and we've gone ahead and found that project information. Now, if I test this, the reason this is so important is because we want to get an understanding of who the client actually is, because when we go ahead and send a custom message, then it's going to be very, very valuable. So we'll go ahead and have a look. For some reason, we got an error. I'm going to try one more time and see what's happening over there. So it doesn't seem to be working. I'm just going to run this automation just to get an idea of exactly why it's not working. So once again, I'm just going to go ahead and move another random task to complete. So we'll go for this one, for example. We'll have a look at why it's not working, just to get more information. I like to include these behind the scenes for you guys, just to give you a better idea. So it seems to have worked. It's probably because I passed all the information manually, didn't like that. But now, as you can see, we have all that information about the actual project. So we can see their active client, we can see the retainer, and most importantly, we can see the name of the actual project and so on and so forth. So for now, I'm going to leave it as this. This is all the information we need. And now we want to talk about to the part where we're actually creating this custom message. Now, through this, we're going to use ChatGPT or OpenAI, I should say. All I'm going to do is add another module and then search for OpenAI, which is just the back end of ChatGPT. And honestly, guys, by the time you're watching this, whatever year it is, there's probably a ton of different examples out there. But in this case, all I'm going to do is basically send a prompt. I would do this with an assistant if I was probably doing this. This is the key difference to talk about in a lot of different videos. When you're using AI and automation, I always recommend going down the assistant side of things because you're going to get much better responses. But just to make this video a bit simpler, I'm just going to go with a prompt. So when we're over here, I'm going to scroll all the way down. I'm going to find the create a completion or just a prompt basically. And I've got my OpenAI connection. Now, if you don't know how to do this, all you have to do is add an account. And actually, my one's failed to load, so I'm just going to do this live for you guys. All I'm going to do is search for OpenAI. Once I've actually loaded it up, you can see they have a bunch of different options. We want the API platform, and then we want to actually log in. So we can go over here, log into API, and this is normal login, guys. And now if you go over to the dashboard, I believe, yep, and you go to API keys, you can go ahead and create a new API keys. Now you won't be able to see mine because they're blurred. I'm just going to create a new key. So in this case, it will just be YouTube test, and we'll leave it as default. And once you actually got that key, we're just going to go back to our make.com account. We're going to add a new connection. We have this nice little pop-up, and all we have to do is enter that OpenAI key. I mean, it's super, super simple, guys. I would also recommend renaming it. So I'm going to put YouTube's test and then today's date, which is the 7th of February. Who knows when this video is going to come out for you guys. I'm just going to go press save. And now we've got and connected it. Very, very simple. Now, in this case, I'm just going to choose any model. I think this is the latest one, so we'll go for that one. And this is where we're going to create a prompt. Now, this isn't a prompting masterclass, and I definitely don't want to spend too much time focusing on a specific prompting side of things. But all we're basically doing here is asking it to create a message for us that we can actually send to the client. So in this example, I'm going to say, you are instructed with taking task and client information and sending updates to clients. Cool. And then I'm going to enter the information below. So I can put task notes. And here I'm going to enter the actual notes from the project. So in this case is notes for project 10. And then I'm going to enter project notes. And here I can enter different things such as the name. And we can get that from our project, which is once again right about here. And I think here I actually outputted the wrong one. This is the notes from the actual tasks or the project. I should say we don't want that. We want the notes from the actual project, which we can get from over here. And we can also add the task name. We can move that to over here. And we can also add a task type just to give even more context by going over here, adding a task type. Cool. Project name, anything else we can add here? Let's see. The email, not really relevant. We'll use it after, but not for now. I think that's pretty much it. We'll leave it as this for now. Obviously, we could get information, but I'm cool with this for now, and we'll leave it as that. And I guess the only thing to talk about it is to say that these tasks are complete and you need to create a summary email to send to clients. Keep it between 1, 2. We don't want it overloading. We'll just leave it as that for now, just to keep it nice and simple. Cool. So now we're going to go and press save. And I'm actually going to run this again with a task that has a bit more information because all of these tasks are just example tasks. So let's go ahead and create a new one. And for the task name, I'm just going to call it, I don't know, OpenAI integration. Right? We'll keep it a bit relevant. You can obviously do anything you want. And then for the task notes, I can say create an OpenAI key and integrate it to make.com so we can work on the automation for you. So very simple. The status is going to be backlog. We're going to move it after. And the task type in this case, I'm just going to leave it as software. And then for the assigned project, let's see if we have anyone. We'll use Ellison Jefferson. No clue who this is, but we'll make it work. So we're going to go ahead and press save now. And now if you go with task, we should be able to see that task. So if we actually run this automation, let's see what's wrong with this. We have an error for some reason. So hopefully that problem we just typed up save. I'd rather not have to do it again. But let's see, everything seems to be there. If I go and press save, maybe, yeah, it's because I didn't save it. So you're going to have to run this. Now it's going to be waiting for that task to be completed. And now all I have to do is move this to complete and this automation should trigger. And what we should see, it should get that information in, it should find that specific project, and then it should go ahead and generate that message depending on the specific use case of the actual task. So as you can see, it just came in. Now we're searching for that specific project, and now we're actually creating that message, which if we open this up, we get a nice little idea. We get the subject, we get the Jefferson team, we created the OpenAI key at integrate.com, enables to proceed with automation. Please don't forget for requirements. And that's pretty much it, guys. Now all we have to do is actually send this to the client. And once again, I hope you can start to get an idea of how useful this is. Every single time your team completes a task within your project management tool, your client's going to automatically get updated. They're going to be able to see the progress you're making toward a specific goal. And this applies to so many different things, right? Obviously, in this case, it was more of like an engineering/development type task. But let's say you're doing this for video editing, right? And one of your employees just completed a subtask that was, I don't know, find video content or edit the first initial video content. You can automatically send your clients an update every single time that video content has been complete to keep them in a loop with exactly what's happening. Also, guys, I wouldn't necessarily hide the fact this is automated because no one likes to be lied to, basically. Don't try and make this seem as if you're actually typing these messages every single time. I think make it clear to them that they're going to be receiving constant updates throughout their entire time working together, because guys, it's going to make them feel so much more motivated and put their trust in you that you can actually complete the project wherever it is that you're actually doing for them. But that's enough rambling from me, guys. I'm very passionate about this, as you can't tell, because I think it's such a good integration that you can actually integrate within your agency, and it's so easy to do, right? You can obviously do this manually, but if you can't automate these small things, like I said, it's just a smaller part of the entire puzzle. Why not? So once you've actually gone ahead and got that message, you actually email them to them. Now, this depends on how you actually communicate with your clients. I'm going to show you how to do it with email. I'm going to show you how to do it with Slack, but you can also do this with SMS. So many different options out there, but let's go for it. First things first, I'm going to show you how to do email. Very simple. All you have to do is search for the email module. And then when you go over here, you're going to scroll all the way down and send the email. Now you can go ahead and connect your Google account. I would recommend using a Google account with the main email. So for example, here I'm using leo@fluxomate.com rather than Gmail or fluxomate@gmail.com, because when you go at gmail.com, it just gets a bit more complicated with mail.com. Unfortunately, it's not as straightforward as it should be. So just use a domain email. You should have it as an agency owner anyways. For the to function now, we can get that email address from the project, which you searched for previously, which once again, this is just a field in my actual project database. If you watch my local video, get more information on that. For the subject, it's actually quite interesting because we could actually have ChatGPT generate it. But just to keep it simple, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm just going to put update on, and then we can enter the project. And then for this, I would always do it HTML, guys. I would always do it HTML. And in all honesty, what am I actually going to do? And I kind of forgot to do this in all honesty. I'm going to go ahead and change this and ask him to give me output in HTML. Another thing I will do to refine this prompt is in this example here, it gave us a subject, but we don't really care for it too much. So I'm just going to ask it to firstly give me an output in HTML, and secondly, to not include anything apart from the actual content of the email. So no subject, nothing like that. So we can actually send it straight away. So please output your response in HTML. Do not include anything apart from the email content. No sub. Cool. So we'll leave it as that. And once again, guys, this isn't necessarily a prompt and masterclass, so feel free to improve this as much as you want. This is more so just what we're doing now. So let me have a quick test of it. Let me just get that task information. Or to be honest, I might run it again in a second in the end. So I'm gonna leave it HTML, and then for the content, I'm just gonna add in the result right there, and I'm just gonna go ahead and press save. Cool. So what I'm gonna do just for this example, I'm quickly gonna change this over. Rather than HTML, I'm gonna change it to my email. Rather than have a dynamic email, we're going to go ahead and change it to my email just because I actually want to be able to see the email that actually gets sent out so I can show you guys. So I'm just going to press it to save. And now we're going to go ahead and run this. And once again, I'm going to find that same exact task. I'm going to move it to in progress to just reset it. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually move it back to complete. I'm going to give it a second so it just has the time to kind of set in properly and we don't kind of forcefully trigger it. So now if I go ahead and move it to complete, this automation should now trigger. And what it's going to do is going to automatically send an email with that specific update message. Now, in this case, we seem to have an error, and that's because the email connection is finished, I guess. So we'll try it with this one and see if that works. I believe it should. I think that's the one I updated recently. Add a test. Okay, cool. So that went ahead and said. So we'll go ahead and run this again now. And once again, I'll move it to in progress, and then I'll move it back to complete just to make sure everything's working properly. So if I move it to completed now, that should go ahead and work. And as I was saying, this now is going to work because it's going to send an email. And in a second, I'm going to show you how you can do the exact same thing within Slack. So as you can see, it's gone ahead and process. Let's just make sure the output is HTML, which as you can see, it is. Perfect. Now, if I open our email quickly, I'll show you guys within the email, we have that HTML. Obviously, I'll clean it up a bit, but we have Dear Efferson Jefferson, which is the name of the project. We have successfully created an OpenAI key and integrated with mate.com, enabling us to proceed with the automation for you. Best regards, your team. Pretty cool, guys. Once again, fully automated. All this has happened is us moving the task to actually complete. There are different ways to trigger this, which I'm going to show you after. But for now, this is a very good place to kind of go. Now, let's say you're using Slack. I can show you how to do the same thing in Slack. All you have to do is go open up Slack, and we're going to scroll down for the module to create a message. You can go ahead and add a connection. It's very, very simple. All you have to do is log in. And then for the channel ID, you can go ahead and select a specific channel. Now, this gets a bit more complicated because in order to actually send it to the right channel, you have to actually store your channel in one of the variables in the project. Like for example, the email is a variable, the Slack ID you can see over here is a variable. And once you actually have that, all you have to do is enter manually. And then here you can enter the Slack channel ID just by entering that Slack ID that will actually search from project. In this example, just to make life easier and actually show you a demonstration, I'm going to send it to one channel, which will be my testing channel, which is the channel I use for different things. And all I'm going to do here now is output the results. Now, obviously in this case, you don't necessarily want it to be HTML because this is Slack. But just to show you this actually works, I can go ahead and update this. Go ahead and press save. I can even, add a special icon. So for example, if I want to be robot_face, and I can add the username as task update. Go ahead and press save. I'll delete this for now. And I'm also going to delete that HTML side of things just because I don't want to overcomplicate it. And we don't want HTML within Slack, even though we should be doing it within the block kit builder. It's not a massive deal for now. So we go ahead and delete this. We'll go ahead and press save. And now if we save this now, we run this again. Once again, we'll use the same exact example as before, the OpenAI integration, and I'll leave it as that for now. If I go ahead and move this to completed, once again, this whole automation is going to run. And what it's going to do now is going to send me a message within Slack. And once again, this will be the specific Slack channel if you set it up properly with that information about the task completion. So I've got a nice little message here. Let me open it up for you guys. You can see within my Slack channel, I have an update right here with the task update in a robot face. Dear Ellen Jefferson, OpenAI has been created and successfully integrated mate.com, allowing us to proceed with the automation for you. Pretty simple, guys. Nothing crazy. All we're doing here is basically just sending an update automatically whenever a task is actually set to complete. So that's the first option you have. And once again, that's the option you can use for any project management tool. Okay, I say any, most project management tools out there, at least the ones I've experienced with. The second option is a bit more specific to Noloco, but in my opinion is what I prefer to do. Just because the only problem with what we did before is that you won't necessarily want to send an update to your client every single time a task is completed. There's so many different reasons for this. I mean, for example, let's say you're doing 10 different tasks a day. That means they're going to get 10 different messages, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you can spam them a bit. Also, sometimes they're going to be tasks that you don't necessarily want to share with your clients. So in this case, what we're going to do, rather than automatically triggering this whenever a message gets completed, we're going to add a simple button. But what I've actually gone ahead and done here within Noloco is created this very simple button. Now, every single time we press this, it's going to give us an option. Are you sure you want to send an update? Once we go ahead and press confirm, then the automation is going to trigger. The way I actually did this is very simple. Noloco makes it very easy. And once again, guys, the reason I showed this to you after is because this is necessarily what you need to do every single time. And not all project management tools will have this ability to integrate different buttons, which is once again why we love Noloco and why we use it for every single one of our clients. But in this case, we're going to go ahead and send an update. We created this button right here. We have a modal option. We could do a one click, but I like the confirmation. And all we're doing now is running that on-demand workflow, which we built out at the very start of this video, just like that. So if we go ahead and now run this again, and for this specific task, you can see we can press this button to send an update. Are you sure you want to send an update? I'll go ahead and press confirm. And now this automation is going to run just like that. And yeah, I just got that message in Slack. I don't know if you heard that, but if I open up again, you can see I got another update right here with all different information. Obviously, the prompt needs some wording, but the general concept of it is that it works. So that's the second option for you guys. Me personally, I would recommend going for this option because once again, not necessarily every single time I update or move a task to complete, I want to send my clients an update. I'd rather be in a bit more control about what specific updates I'm sending, and this is the easy way to do it through the use of a button, which I personally love. We use buttons so often in the logo. It's a bit crazy, and it's one of the reasons why I love it so much. So guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, you now have an understanding of exactly how you can use a very simple automation that we built together from scratch to automatically send your clients updates on a consistent basis. This is one of the best things you can do, guys, to improve your client experience. Once again, there's a whole book behind it, the progress principle. I don't have it behind me in my bookshelf just yet. I've recently started moving on to hard copies of books rather than Audible. However, it's an amazing book and the principle behind it really, really stands. And once again, guys, don't think about it from a theoretical perspective. Like, think about it in real life. If you were to see progress being made towards a specific goal, you're going to be much more motivated and happier during the process of that project being actually achieved. So it's the exact same thing for your clients, guys. Integrate something like this and even do this manually if you want to. Honestly, I don't really mind, but it's such an easy way to improve your client experience. And obviously, all we're doing here is adding a little bit of AI and automation to just make it a bit more seamless and integrated. Guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Short and snappy one. I've ranted a bit more in this video, but hopefully this gives you an insight on how you can actually use this to integrate in your agency. If you have any sort of questions, leave a comment below. I'm more than happy to help you guys. If you're on automation blueprints and anything else to talk about in this video, you can check out the first link in the description and join my school community. Within there, you get access to all the different templates from my YouTube videos. We have so many different automation resources, step-by-step guides to actually create project management tools within the local and different tools. So check it out. It's 100% free. Within there, we also have about 200 different established agency owners all looking to set up scale-proof systems. So if any of that sounded interesting, check out the first link in the description and I'll see you inside. Apart from that, guys, that's it from me today. It's been a pleasure actually recording this video. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. We're a very small channel. So if you have a question, just leave it below and I'll give you an in-depth response, guys. Make the most of it while you still can. Thank you very much for watching and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.